No. Spent the better part of an hour sweet-talking the manager down to a restocking fee.
And yes, we are back to talk about the Hemi L cars, the 2023 and before spectacular cars that so many of us own, but many of you don't, and you're waiting to see if the Hemi comes out. I addressed that in my last video, and that may not be a good move based on all the reasons I shared, so go check that video out. But you may want to buy a 2023 or before Dodge Charger, Challenger Hellcat, Scat Pack, RT. It just may make way more sense than going and buying the new model. With that said, a lot of you did chime in and agree that in some cases, these cars are extremely reliable and will go many, many miles, many tens of thousands, if not, some of you said your cars were hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal issues. One guy said he only had to do a water pump. Another guy came back and said he bought one with, I think it was 80,000 miles on it, and right away he needed a full rebuild of that engine, and it's going to cost him a lot of money, but he hopes that after he does that, he will be in good shape. And I can tell you, my only concern with that is that it may be the start of a lot of other repairs that come up later on, because of the 5 reasons I'm going to share with you that you've got to do your legwork if you're going to buy one of these things. If you're looking to go buy one of these 23 and before cars, these 5 things will hopefully help you. With that said, keep in mind that I believe in 2023, there were some shortcuts made. They were trying to get these things out to market, and there's some flaws. So check the 2023s out closely. I don't see any serious mechanical issues, but more so, unless it's a Demon 170, there's a risk there. But I do see that there's some just build quality issues. My starter was loose, and they had to tighten that thing up because I was push starting my car for a week while I was waiting to get to the shop. And the interior was coming apart a little bit on the door, and the glue wasn't strong enough, or enough glue was put on to keep the door in place, and that's been on back order now. And I've never, put it this way, 2 years ago they said it was on back order, and I still haven't got it, never followed up, and just it doesn't bother me that much because you can't tell unless you actually look. But with that said, let's jump in and talk about these 5 things you got to watch out for. And one of the questions I got were, would you recommend buying one of these things? And I thought I might as well address this because yes, I would, unless the car it was beat to hell.
Numb your hoe and get your Buddha, please. Pity hoe that's begging on her knees.
How do you know? Well, these 5 reasons hopefully will help you see that, because we know that many of these cars, these Hemi cars, if not in some cases, most of them were rode hard and beat the hell up. And I mean, whether it was raced, rented, or just, street takeovers, or stolen once, crashed 3 times, and find their way back to the market. And then you show up and you go, man, that's a really good deal. I'm going to buy that Scat Pack or that Hellcat for, $50,000 for a Hellcat. Well, seems great, but if that car was ragged out really bad,
1, 2, 3, 4.
you may be walking into a very expensive situation. And some people ask me, should we get an extended warranty? I'm always for extended warranties. I am just concerned that most of these companies will do anything they can to not cover the issues. So do your research. I can do a whole new video on that one to make sure that you actually get a good extended warranty if you do get one, because many of those companies are pretty shady. But if you pay attention to these 5 reasons and you're very careful, you can find yourself a cream puff and then be the person that's going to take care of it and have that thing running for many, many years to come. So let's jump right in. So number 1, of course you want to get the vehicle history report. Whether it's Carfax or one of the other companies, you want to make sure this car was never flooded. You want to look at the accident damage. You want to see if it was rear end, front end collision, side swiped, or curb hopped. You want to get the details, because some of these cars, when the guys lost control of them, they curb hopped those things, and while they got them back on the road, there's all kinds of damage underneath. And unless you get this thing up on a rack, you won't know what's going on underneath. And even though the dealer may be a reputable dealer, they may be selling this car and at a good deal, hoping nobody ever looks, because once you drive away, it's your car. So make sure that there's no flood damage. The accident history is minimal, if anything. Like my Charger I had a tiny little fender bender. It was $2,000, and I tapped the side of a Camry, and that is no big deal because I never really ragged that car out. You also want to see the number of owners. The more owners, the more likelihood that there was a guy that had a propensity to do street takeovers that maybe owned it along the way, or somebody that did some really stupid stuff along the way. The more owners, the higher risk. I like to look at a car that if it's had one owner, or the older it is, if it's only had 2 owners, then I feel a little bit safer. When I bought my Lamborghini, I knew it had 3 owners, and I found out who the 3 owners were, and I am now friends with the 3rd owner. So I knew where that car had been. But if you can't figure that out, and it's been 5 or 6 owners or 4 owners, and it's a 2022, just know somewhere along the line, this thing was wrecked. Also, find out if it was a prior lease, if you can, through that Carfax information, because people just don't take care of leases the way they do a purchase because they have no intention of keeping it. They know that they're going to race the thing. Look up the maintenance history on these cars as well and find out if they were serviced at the dealership or somewhere else. And if there's no records whatsoever, I can tell you, you might want to step away from that car because it probably wasn't serviced on a regular basis, which means that engine could be on the brink of having some problems. Number 2, mechanical conditions and known model-specific issues. So you can just Google and find these things, which is what I did. And I found here that, yes, over the years with those cars, there's been some transmission issues. If you feel some hard shifting when you test drive that car, that could be a problem. Delayed gear engagement in these models, that could be a problem. And you may be staring down the barrel of a new transmission, which could be very expensive and something you don't want to deal with. And a lot of times those beat up transmissions are from people driving those cars really, really hard. Lots of launch control scenarios, and they've taken these things to a place to where whoever gets the car next is going to be buying a transmission. Check the tire wear, worn control arms, tie rods, suspension bushings, especially if the previous owner drove it hard. And here's the deal. You see the pattern here, things start to lead up. If it had 4 owners and you can't get any records and you've got known, let's say the transmission's slipping a little bit or it feels like it's shifting really hard, and then you come into looking underneath the car and you notice the bushings are worn out, there's control arms are beat up and bent or loose. These all scream out that car was rode hard, and that issue, while yes, you could fix that issue, there's probably many other issues that you don't see because how hard that car was driven. Check the fluids on the car, check the oil. Anybody who's selling a car, any dealer who's selling a car should have changed the oil when they put it on the lot. If that car is sitting on the lot and that oil is black, somebody's not been taking care of it, and the people selling it certainly don't care. They're just trying to optimize profitability and jam that car on you. Listen closely for strange noises. These things are known. The older you get, you find that Hemi tick issues. You don't want to walk into those problems either. And you need to listen to the car when it's idling and while it's under load and accelerating. So put the windows down and stick your noggin out the window and listen closely for strange sounds. And if it sounds strange, just run. Follow your gut and run, because that is the beginning of a nightmare. And number 3, inspect the car for hard use. Real simple. If the car's been lowered, probably it was no offense, younger guys, it was a younger guy who drove the living hell out of that car. Excessive tire wear, especially in the rear tires, shows that they've been doing a lot of launch controls and burning those tires out and doing donuts and all kinds of fun stuff. Now, I've done it. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But do I want to buy a car that has been ragged out with people doing that with it? Check the alignment. Check the front tires. See if there's any care been put into keeping that car in alignment. Make sure there's no alignment angles or tweaks showing that car was used on a track or the kid was pretending to use it on a track. And look really, really hard. I mean, take somebody with you who's not tied to the outcome to search for dents and scratches and misaligned door panels or body panels. These all show, because not everything's going to be on the Carfax, these all show where somebody did work themselves or they had some issues with the car, and you may not see it. I'm telling you, I've bought cars before that I literally left and I could not believe that in all the excitement, I didn't notice that there was a ding on the car. And then I had to go back to the dealer and pick a fight after the fact. If there's lots of little dents, lots of scratches, lots of swirls, somebody did not take care of that car. And look closely, because if they didn't take care of the outside of the car, they probably didn't take care of the inside of the car. And 4, look up any recalls and make sure they were done. If the car is being sold by a private party or a non-Dodge dealership, or even if it's Dodge dealership, make sure the recalls all were done. That way you're not stuck having to go chase those things down or find out that a car has been neglected when they were notified that they had to get a recall and they just never took it in. And number 5, be aware of the specific engine issues, the specific engine considerations. So, for example, a Scat Pack is going to have different cost-related repairs than a 5.7, for example. And a 5.7 might very well be more reliable than a 392 or a Hellcat. And just know, if you buy a Hellcat, and let's say you get a Hellcat for what you perceive to be Scat Pack money, and you go, that's what I want, understand and do the research that a Hellcat can cost you way more money to fix. It could have way more issues and may have been driven way harder. You want to change or repair or replace a supercharger, that's not going to be a cheap thing, where you wouldn't have that issue with the 392 or the 5.7s. So just know, when you're buying a used one of these things, that if you're buying a Hellcat, you may be walking into a very expensive repair process and lots of other issues you didn't anticipate. And I'm telling you, if I'm buying a Hellcat, I want that thing to have been one owner, and I want a full PPI on it. I want the Dodge dealer to look at it. I want all the books and records, because if I'm going to buy that thing with out-of-warranty miles, I know that I may be walking into something that's going to cost me $10,000 to get that car fixed when it starts taking a crap on me. And there's nothing worse than having to shovel a whole bunch of money on top of money after you bought a car where you thought you got a good deal. So hopefully these 5 will help you make that decision. I do recommend these older cars. They're amazing. When I say older, like 2 years older and before. And the further you go back, just know the more issues you're likely going to have. You're going to save money on buying those. But if you're really careful and do your homework, do your research, and don't get caught up in the excitement of the moment, which we all do, I've done, then you can get a good car that will last you a very, very long time. So with that, please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
How long do you think that would take? No, I'm sure he'll see me. Thank you.